Hello, everybody. Today we're here and we're welcoming Evelyn, the infamous Green Witch of Dalesford, who's been around for a long, long time practicing her magic and skills for various and numerous people. So welcome, Evelyn. If you'd just like to share and tell a little bit about yourself to everybody.
Hello, everybody, whoever everybody is. I'm very well. I hope everyone else is well. Yeah. So you would like to know about me. So I have been the Green Witch since I was very young. And I notice there's a lot of Green Witches about now, but there never was when I started being a Green Witch. but
You're
yeah,
the original.
The Green Witch, yeah, I reckon I am. The Green Witch is about the earth, and it's also about children, working with children, because they're our new growth for humans. Yeah, so I just do what I do pretty much. I have been trained in Alexandrian Witchcraft, but I just do my own thing these days. I'm older and more confident.
What's Alexandrian Witchcraft
I can just
specifically?
do my own. Well, it's one of the originals with Alexander. Whatever his first name is, I've forgotten already after so many years. There was Gardnerian witches and there was Alexandrian witches. In the 60s and 70s, and even the 50s, they kind of brought it back to the surface. There have always been witches, but they made it kind of traditional and gave people a reference point. It's fairly strict in they were both English witches, very strict in their, you must do that, you must do it that way, you must do it that way. But when you don't know anything and you don't have anyone to reference point, especially us here in Australia, it was good. You found a coven of friends and you learn how to do things. But before that, I was already learning healing and herbs and things. So I had a lot of grounding before I started anything else. And then I moved into it and I loved that. But, people learned and we've got Facebook and...
So was Alexandrian magic, that was the first one that sort of reappeared after it being suppressed for so many years and made it more accessible to people?
Yes, Gardnerians, what's his name, Gardner. I can never think of his first name, George Graham, no, something. I'm terrible, aren't I? Gardner started first. He was an older man and he was a bit of a naturist, so he liked doing things in the buff. And then Alexandra came next, but not far after, because he learnt with Gardner, then he moved out and started his own, they're very similar to me, but some differences, basically. So, you learnt the quarters and the calling of the quarters and, all the things that go with it. So,
yeah,
and the young people,
sorry, Evelyn, keep talking.
The young people of today are good at doing their own thing. I do think some of the old things are handy. The old words have power and they also have grounding. So a lot of people tend to just do their own thing, but I think they don't have as much confidence, which does come with age. So, yes. But that doesn't mean they're not able to do it right, or they can still raise their power and all those things.
Yeah. So did you want to talk, Evelyn, about a little bit about the special days of the year, the equinoxes and the solstices, and just a little bit about the yearly wheel for how you work with it?
Yes, I can do that, yes. The solstices and the equinoxes are called lesser festivals for us because they're there. They're there for everybody, sort of, whether you're a witch or not. People know about the solstices and the equinoxes. So I don't ask for things for myself or other people on those dates.
That's just more celebration.
Yeah, they're celebrations, and I like to honour the changing of the season with those. So, and unless there's a big need, I might, but I generally don't, or I would do a separate circle for that at a later date or an earlier date. So But on the night when I do my festival, it's only about the festival and the earth and the season. So, and you would use different things by whatever's in season. So because it's spring equinox, we will use spring flowers and things like that. You know, for winter solstice, we would use more winter things, or very little, because in those old days they didn't have a lot by the time they got to the winter.
Sure.
So, yeah.
And just the fact also too that the solstices and the equinoxes form that cross, which was,
yes, they do form.
Again, it was yeah, it was pinched, wasn't it? Like so many other things.
Yes.
Kept it in.
Everything was borrowed from us. Yes. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. And then we have the other four spokes of the wheel, because there's 8 spokes for the wheel. They're called the greater Sabbats because they're more important to us in that they're personal to witches rather than the other ones belong to everybody, if that makes sense.
Yeah, more specific.
More specific, yeah.
And more specific with the energies too, yes. So,
yes.
And then, well, and then also that just will lead me then on to this other little picture, perhaps, of the cycles of the moon and how you work with the moon within those greater cycles.
Yep. Well, that there's a different point of reference before we get to that, perhaps, because over here our north and south is different from England and America.
Yes.
And so our south is very cold and our north is very hot. And so I like to work it in the way that it works for me because I'm Australian. But if you want to do it the English way or the American way, when you're between the worlds, you can still access that energy. You don't have to change them, but I like to change them just because I like to, I suppose. So Christmas for me is June. So when people do Christmas in July, they're actually not far off because they're working with July because they think July is the middle of the winter months. So that makes sense too. So whereas I do it on June. So
never made sense seeing Santa in that big suit in summer, did it?
No, it didn't. A hot roast dinner, and people do try and still do that, and I suppose it's got its own ritual and energy, you know. So yeah, it's whatever works for people, really.
Yeah, I think it's good to hold on to any ritual. They're leaving our lives altogether quickly, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Connection and ritual and magic. What was that? Sorry, Evelyn?
Especially the last year or so, they've seemed to have gone downhill. You know, I have friends who've given it up totally and wouldn't know where the moon is or what it's doing or anything else. So now you wanted to ask about the moon, didn't you? And
yeah, we're going to
yeah. So the power of the full moon is a completion.
Which is tomorrow night, by the way, yes, for everybody.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But you can use tonight, you can use the day before and the day after for any of the moon phases. So so tonight you could do a full moon ritual because the energy is nearly there and it still hasn't gone down much if you wait till the day after. So that's like a personal choice. Whereas a new moon is, if you want to do something new, a new moon is good to do it, and then it can grow until the full moon. Then you can reinforce it with your full moon energy if you want to. Like the new moon's quite powerful for me. I do love a full moon, but I do a lot of workings on the new moon.
With Venus close by, she's beautiful.
Well, I'm a Taurus, so she's well for me. Yeah, yes. So yeah, and as the moon grows from new moon, you can do all your waxing things, so bringing in, and after the full moon, if you want to give up smoking or swearing or eating or anything else, you do that the day after the full moon because the moon is shrinking, and you're wasting your time to do it on the new moon because, you know, it's probably not going to work. You're going to give up before then.
Conflicting energies, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of aspects of energy you can use without even if the moon, if you've got a need that's quite strong, you could do it at dawn or noon or evening even, because you've got power times. So if it's not working in the other phases, you can do that. Ways to get around these.
Yeah, I love it. It's like the using all the cycles, macro right down to the micro, right down to the hour, the planetary hours or days if you're wanting to, and yeah.
It's all important. And I think all the time, I think it's about just doing it. Like you do a great job with your energy work and stuff, and it doesn't matter that you haven't been trained, so you've got plenty of power, I know.
Yeah, well, it comes down to intention, doesn't it? A lot of it.
It does.
And just actually doing it, as you said.
It's all about intention.
Yeah.
And I've got a bit lazy, being shut in the house, I'm not doing as much. But also, when you've had a lot of practice, you can just do it without the ritual. But I love ritual. But if I want something, I've just got to really feel it inside and then put it out there, and I get it anyway. But that's not half as much fun as doing a ritual.
Getting nudie.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So did you want to run through a little spell with us, how you would do that, or did you want to have a look at your altar? Yes. Or maybe like a little spell for people who are just starting out and they may be wanting to, I don't know, bring some peace or a bit of love into their lives at the moment, because a lot of people are struggling and it's difficult and strange times for people. So maybe you could just run through a simple little self-love or staying calm and at peace or something.
Yep, there's lots of ways to do that. I like to start with the house as well. So I might wash the floor with basil in the water, whether it's dry basil with boiling water on, and put that in your floor wash, because that brings peace and harmony to the house first up. And you can sit basil around, and cloves as well. They're really good. You can use the oil or you can use the dry herbs. And the herbs are cheaper and more readily available than oils are expensive, aren't they? So, I would do that. I would probably even have a bath with some of those herbs as well to get yourself calm, do some deep breathing, and say I was just doing a simple candle spell, which anyone can do. You can make them elaborate or you can make them simple. So you would hold, say, a pink candle, or pink is really good, and green for love and calm.
Yeah.
And you would hold and charge it, so by putting your thoughts into it. And I always activate things by blowing on it 3 times and make sure I focus on my wish. And I would probably also gather herbs or flowers or crystals or even tarot cards that will be in line with my will and my desire. And I just set it up and make it look pretty.
So when you say in line with your will or desire, you would go for herbs that relate to that particular feeling or desire. Yes. The colours of candles would relate. Yes. Anything else on your altar, i.e., if you were
flowers or
flowers, nice. Yep. So and all the elements as well present.
Yes, you can call them. Yes, but if you don't know anything and just want to maybe do something simple, I've got a candle here, but I like beeswax, but pink is good. So I would hold that like firmly, and focus on what I'm asking for, and try and keep it simple. Like, I need peace in my life. Like, feel it in your heart. I need peace in my life now. Something like that. You could then just light that candle and put a few things around it and let it burn. You can burn, these candles take a while. Little candles will burn quickly if you want to get it done quickly because you've got kids at home or whatever. So, you can burn them in, let's say, half an hour. Or this kind of candle, you could burn it over 3 days. But you just tell the candle first, I will burn you over 3 days, so it knows it's going to be put out and relit. So, but I do tend to like to do them all in one go, mostly. But bigger, deeper things, I would burn it over 3 days, though.
Longer standing stewing things.
Yeah. But you also, when it's done, you need to leave it if you can. But again, if you've got children, you can't always leave. I would leave mine sit there for 3 days before I pack it away. But you don't have to. It's just as long as your intention is, you know, and then you can move it to where it's safe so no one sees it. And you don't tell anybody that you've done a spell, because they would go, oh, that's no good, that won't work, that's rubbish. And then you don't trust, especially when you're new, you know. So it's just think about what you want, ask it clearly and simply, light the candle. And the candle colours are quite, because a lot of people these days know chakras and colours. So, you know, pink or green for your heart, blue for healing or your throat if you want to speak up, you know. White one will always. Oh, yes, you have.
Yeah, where is that? Here's a bit simpler one.
Yeah, that was a good one, yes. But at least these days with Google, we can Google, and there's books and there's lots of things to find out what you need now.
Absolutely. It's very much more accessible now than it was for you back in the day.
Yeah, for sure, back in the day. There were no books. I was brought up on Hans Christian Andersen, the fairy books and things like that. And you didn't have the money. You couldn't just go to the shop and buy it because it wasn't there either. You know, there was but I learned when I was older there were books, especially in England, but, you know, they weren't available here in Australia. And you didn't have money or the ability to just go out and spend your money. You didn't earn much. As a working woman, when I was, say, 18 to 20 or so, I earned £9. That was an adult woman's wage, £9, which is what, $18, you know. But that was all right for them.
That was relative.
It was relative at that time, but you still had to live and pay your board at your mother's and all those things. So you couldn't waste it on books and things.
I think there's a big element of that, though, of making do with what you've got, and even hand making a lot of the things which, again, imbibe it with intention and give it more power.
Yes. Yeah, I like making my own things like you do too. We make our own incense, and I rarely have bought incense. If people buy it for me for a gift, I'll use it because they bought it for me. You know, my grandchildren like to buy it for me. But I really like to make my own, and I know you do as well. Yeah,
love it.
So much more energy in it.
Yeah. So yes, and Evelyn, you also are an incredible tarot reader too. Do you want to talk a little bit about how long you've been doing tarot for, and how you approach it, what decks you use, anything you'd like to share with people about you reading tarot for so many years? How long have you been reading for?
Oh, I've lost track, really. I was reading when I was living in the country and married. I was reading cards then, but not for people. Like, nobody out in the country, I was married to a farmer, nobody knew that I could do what I do. And but I would read them for us, and I would play with them all the time. And I had a few crystals, but I always knew that I was a witch. But it wasn't until my husband died and I moved down to the country. So it's more than 25 years. It's quite a while since I've been professional for 25 years or more.
Fantastic.
But I've been doing it for a lot longer than that, though. So yeah. So I like Rider-Waite tarot. They just work because they've got the right amount of symbolism and colour, but I have many decks, of course. But some of them work for me and some don't. You know, I just buy them because I think, oh, that's pretty, I'll buy them.
I think there is something about the symbolism, how old the symbolism is, that's actually in our DNA, it's in our deep memory.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'd like some Aboriginal cards, and apparently you can get them, Aboriginal tarot, and I think they would probably work well. So
sure.
I might think about that one day. So
did you want to do it? Sorry.
My favourite is still Rider-Waite, and when I'm teaching, I like Rider-Waite because if you can read Rider-Waite, you can read anything. So you would like me to do some cards?
Maybe, yeah. I'm sure everyone would love to see or hear you do some cards, Evelyn.
I've got them over here. That's a picture of the altar. I've just got to find the box under here.
Wow.
Can you see that? I don't know if I held it right. Can you see?
Beautiful. Wow.
I just put some
Powerful of themes going on in there.
Oh yes, that's not even the best. That's not even the best one. That's the second best one. I'll just get the tarot out. Sorry.
Sure. All good.
If I can get the box to open. It's not open. Here we go. It's a tricky box. It's got a little seal in it. Oh, there we go. So, would you like to ask a question, and I'll put some cards on and explain how that works, if you'd like. These are very old, as you can see. And again, they're about the third hand pack that I've got. My son has, one son has the oldest set, and I have the second oldest set is in the shop, and this set I have at home.
Fantastic. It's a trifecta.
And I'm nearly thinking I need a new set to break in. I've always got to break in a new one. So I'll just shuffle those and then I'll get back to you with that. So just thinking, Jojo. Now, do you have a question you'd like me to ask or answer, or I'll just tell you what I draw out for you?
Yeah, I think just a general one on whatever you draw out, and just share some of your wisdom with us, Evelyn.
All right. Well, this is very interesting. I'll just take one up there. So now I'll show you what I've done. So can you see that? I've drawn four piles. And I've just asked Jojo, probably there's Richard in there as well. All right. So this is a very easy spread. This says, did you get a look at that?
Mm-hmm.
Did you get a good one? Yeah.
Is this the one at the top with the 3 across underneath?
Yes, 3 at the bottom, yes.
Yep.
And 1 at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And you can look at the past and the present, on the left being the past and the third one, the present, the future, and the 2 in the middle is the answer for me. But I tend to look at both sides of the situation and the 2 in the middle being the answer. If someone's trying to learn tarot, that's a good way to do it. So here I would see some action being taken for you on a new, can you see that? I don't know when I'm showing you, I don't know how I'm showing
that's
it properly.
the Knight of Cups, is it? Yep.
The Knight of Cups, yes.
Yep.
So there's an emotional change here for you. In fact, they're all pretty much talking a bit of an emotional change here for you. Because the Knight is always a change and it's active. So it's like it's progressing. And that could be this that you're doing.
It's it's a big step. I feel like I'm being quite brave, and I'm
quite
nervous.
You definitely are, and you're so good. You're doing it so well. I love your background. So this is taking that step. That's also telling me, because it's on the left here, that's telling me you've taken that step. And it may not be about that. You might have something else in mind that I don't know. But it feels like whatever it is, it's very profitable, it's very emotional, and it's very good. It's all good here. So then I will look at the one in the middle here, the Chariot, because you've got 3 major arcanas here. So there's a lot of important decisions being made now for you. So the Chariot says you might be thinking about getting another car or doing something to your car. I'm thinking the wheels maybe, so tyres. You may need to look at your tyres. But it also says focus on one thing at a time at the moment, and which is kind of what you're doing, I think. This could take you a long way, basically, when you've got a Chariot. Kind of represents a car and your journey. So, and because you've got the Lovers on the other side there, the Lovers says you need Richard's help with that. And so you're taking him on that journey with you.
He's my favourite. He's my favourite tech guy. Thanks to him, is the background and all the fancy bits.
Yes. So you need him. So it's a double journey. So because it's going to get him out doing what he loves to do too. So you might start a company eventually. here, that sort of looking like this is the thing to focus on at the moment here. And when you've got the Fool up above your Chariot, it's take the leap, and you've done it. You've taken the leap. You might need better people to talk to than me. I waffle.
Oh, Evelyn, I love you dearly. I love talking
I know
to
you
you.
do. I know, but I'm probably not very good at this part. I'm not good at this stuff.
Not about being good, it's just being yourself, darling. That's
Oh,
what we all
I'm
have to realise.
Yes, it's all I can do, really. That I can only do me.
That's all I can do.
The Fool up above says that, you've taken the leap, and now, and probably, yes, the first 2 or 3 you might think, oh my goodness, I need to do it different. Then you've got to learn as you go. But the Fool says, and if you fail, you fail. You won't fail because you're never a failure, are you? You're never a failure. You'll juggle it and make it, pull the reins and make it work, because that's what you do. So, I think because there's a lot of water, there's a lot of emotion, but you've come a long way since I've known you as well. So, you've changed heaps and you're stronger and more confident, and you're you. So, yeah. Do you need me to elaborate on any of those?
No, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Maybe you could do one for a reading for us doing this on a regular basis, what the cards would tell us about that as a possibility of an idea.
Between you and I?
Mm-hmm.
Eleni? Yeah, I can do that. I mean, I can probably answer that anyway without having to put cards on it.
Be fun to do a regular with you.
Yes, it would. So when I do that spread, for someone who doesn't know or they're trying to learn tarot, that's a good way to keep your questions simple and look at it that way, and work with the cards and learn your cards that way.
Yeah, and would you say too, Evelyn, that the more specific you are with the questions, the easier it is for the cards to come through?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, with a more specific answer.
Yes, and it's not a good idea to ask the same question every day or every week, or you need to word it differently or look at it from other angles. You can look on the same situation, but look at it from different angles and other people's, and what if and when, or, don't just ask the same question every time, because they will give you all good cards and fool you, or they won't answer at all. Mine are very blunt. It's like, I'm not answering that. So that's what I get.
You know the answer.
Yeah. We know the answer anyway. Yes. Yeah. All right. So, how will it go if Jojo and I do this on a regular basis? Right. So we've got 3 major arcanas again. So what I'm seeing here is a little scary, but it's good. Can you see that? So you can edit it out. If you don't want to, you can edit it out. So with the page here on the left, the page it's a good idea, but it looks like there's some growth. So a page is a message. So it's not a bad card. Messages are good. So it's a good idea, and we'll do a few, but I think that would tell me you're going to move on to something better in time, which is okay by me. So we can definitely do a few there, because there's little new opportunities here on the card. So you learn to look at what bits are showing you. So then you've got the strengths. So we both have to have the strength. I might get sidetracked and I can't do it for you, or we don't know yet, do we? I'm willing to do it at this point in time, but I'm thinking you're going to grow. And so the death card is that it will end. We may do it till next August. And then it will change and become something else, whether that's for you or for me, doesn't matter. So that says go with the flow and do what you like now. Use your strength and your knowledge. Yeah. And the Tower says, whatever happens will be to force you to do something else, or to force me to do something else as well.
We can be each other's catalysts.
We probably will, because I am looking at doing different things, but I haven't formalised it yet. I know I want some changes, but I haven't formalised them yet, so I'll probably need to kick up the butt. The tower says, I'll give you a kick up the butt if you don't act.
We all need one sometimes, don't we?
We do. But it isn't bad. It's certainly a great idea for like maybe through until next year, August or something next year. So that sounds fine to me. I'm willing to do it.
Cool. That sounds good to me too.
I think you'll just move on then to something else, I think.
Who knows what's happening tomorrow at this point for everybody?
Yes,
it's all a bit up in the air, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
Right. So did you want to talk any more about the cards in particular, the majors and the minors, or anything else that you really love, or love working with them about?
Yep. With the knights, all of the knights, they are specifically about a change coming. So if it's a Knight of Cups like you had, that's an emotional step you're taking. It's always the Knight is taking the action. So with that one, you've already taken it because it was on your left, but it's also right that you're doing it. If that makes sense. So if you had the Knight of Swords, things can be a little bit out of control with that, because if you look at that picture, the horse is charging along. It's like sometimes you do need to stop and not be up in your head. So knights are always about making things happen. Or in the Knight of Swords, it's like, maybe don't make it happen. Maybe stop and think. Well, it's a good thing you didn't come over here, because the hailstones are coming.
Oh, wow.
I can hear them on the window.
It's been freezing.
Yeah, so yes, it is cold. Yes, it's not cold in here. It's lovely. So knights are always about a change, and the pages are always about the message that will bring about the change. So it can talk about lots of mail, lots of telephone calls, which is like the message. So someone's ringing up with a message or whatever that is for you. So those two are very important. And the aces are always the season. So when you're learning tarot, those three things are really quite important. So I always like the seasons to suit our weather, although sometimes I vary them, and because I can, and it might just seem to me that it's not about what I've said. It might be outside the world. I don't know. It's just
so you see the aces. Sorry, Evelyn. What was that last bit?
I normally use them to suit the seasons here, but sometimes that doesn't seem to work in my mind, so I'll adjust it if I get told to adjust it in my guides. So, but normally the aces are seasons.
And yeses?
Yes and no. The sun is a yes and the moon is a no.
Okay.
If that makes any sense to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the moon is all about dreams and deep things coming up, which might be scary or not. So it's, it's like emotions and hormones get out of control and stuff. If you're wanting a yes or no answer, and you say that first, and you shuffle the cards and you say, give me a yes or no answer, you would put the cards down until you get either a moon or a sun. So you can do, there is another way, but it's probably a little complicated to show that on here. But yeah. And of course, some of the cards have negative connotations. I don't read reversed. I don't think you need, because if your guides are working with you, I mean, it's good, but it's complicated. So I just put the cards out, and my guides will let me know if it's the negative side of a card or if something. Oh, sorry, I just need to plug my phone into the charge. It's got low. I'm sorry.
Sure, that's okay, darling.
I've just got it here. I'll bring it over. Keep talking.
Still got I did have a question just then. It's just popped out of my mind. I was going to ask about, what other divination tools do you use?
Yes, I use a lot of different ones. Sorry, I'm bobbing all over the place here.
It's nice to see some of your little treasures.
Oh yes, there's lots of them. I'll bring this over to the table where I can sit and be still. Yes, I like pendulums a lot. I do love pendulums, and I use kinesiology, finger points, and listening to my guides a lot.
Is that like muscle testing you use?
Yeah, muscle testing.
Like
yeah, that one.
little...
I do. Yes, yes, that. Yes.
Do you want to show? Do you want to show people how that works? That one?
Yes, yes. Can I just hop under the table and plug that in? I
Sure.
Sorry. I should have thought of that. I'm sorry. I'm very disorganised. How's that? Oh, I plugged the wrong thing in.
Get back under the table.
Yeah. Well, is that working?
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, I think so. I'll yell if it's not. So I think it's right. Oh. Yes. What we're going to say about show you the muscle testing?
Yeah.
Right. I'll see if I can pop the phone there. I don't know whether you can see me there. So I make a circle with my fingers, and the other ones I put in the middle. So I set my intent first and breathe and, get grounded. And then I'll say, will Joe and I work a few of these messages. So then I put my fingers in here, this way. So that one's sideways, and I pull. So you keep both fingers at the same pressure if you can. So will we work together and do more videos? So my fingers don't want to open, so that's a yes. So if I were to pull and my fingers fly open, then it will be a no. Is that simple? And because I'm a simple person, I just tell people how to do it and expect them to go and do it. But they don't always, because they're not all as simple as me.
The other one too, which I find even simpler, is just standing. And if you ask the question, tune in and ask the question. If you lean forward slightly, a yes, and back slightly, a no. But you get it in your body. You get the tingle anyway. You sort of know, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's good to do that, just to practice tuning into your own knowing.
Yes. I've never tried the one you just said. I'll give that a go later. But it's like, and the pendulum is, it's good to learn to ask your questions simply and not complicated, so that you can get a yes or no answer. And my simplest one would be, I can either see the yes or the no up in the air above me, and one will disappear or drop. It'll be like flip down, like that means that's not the answer. The one that's left is the answer. But then I also do that with my tummy. So if when you meet someone you don't like and your tummy goes, oh, don't like that person, your tummy clenches, that's a no. And if you get a shiver up your back, like a little tingle, that's a yes. So I like those. I trust my gut with those strongly. If I'm out and about or something.
It's a huge thing, isn't it? Trusting your gut and trusting your instincts. We've been so, taught not to do that, but there's so much strength and knowledge and empowerment in doing so. Yes, you're right. And also, like I was taught when I was young, that wee small voice, it's a tiny voice, it's very faint, and even now, like, it never does come out loud. It's more once you learn, like being a caterpillar with lots of little hairs on you, you pick up vibrations, don't you? And that's a bit hard to teach people and explain, isn't it? When your tummy reacts, your hairs pick up something, you see it in your mind or you hear it in your ear all at once. And it's really hard to teach that to people, I find. But I'm not necessarily a good teacher, but I do teach, but I don't think I'm a good teacher, but I think you are. I just like to share it and let them get what they get out of it. Yeah, because the pendulum, like the pendulum is as easy as doing that with your hands. But one day I did teach pendulum. I think I did a 3-hour course because really you only need 5 minutes. And one of the ladies
they were nice ladies. I think there was 5 of them. And I know one was a timid person, perhaps not overly confident. And she got some answers when we were working. I thought she was fine. And I ran into her, I don't know, sometime later, a month or two. She said, thanks for teaching me the pendulum. She said, I went and did a full weekend course on it. After I thought, wow, that would cost you money. And you didn't need to. I thought, some people might have more money than they need. But I think she obviously was, she wasn't quite young. She was probably 40, but she obviously wasn't trusting herself. I can't imagine needing two full days to learn a pendulum. Do you? It seems very easy.
I could think of other things I'd spend my time on, but learning the pendulum is definitely a worthy thing to do, to use as a tool.
Oh, they're great. They're really great. Yeah, I like to use them for clients because they like to see you do something, I think, whereas I can just trust myself with my answers most of the time. So, yeah. But, I do sometimes when I'm reading, if we need clarity, I'll get the pendulum and show them how they work. And do you program your pendulum first when you first buy it?
Yeah, clear it first.
Yes.
Clear it and charge it. Yeah, and sometimes with an oil, I think that lovely one you gave me, the anointing oil.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That would be nice, yes.
I
haven't done any clearing for it since I moved. I'm a bit slack. But I like to hold them or carry them with me or sit watching TV with them for a while if I've got time for that. And then a lot of people let them do what they like. They'll say, show me yes, and they'll let it do what it likes. And then they'll say, show me no, and they let it do what it likes. Me being a Taurian, that's not good enough for me. The whole world knows nodding your head is yes and shaking your head is no. So that's how I train my pendulum. And they all work that way quite clearly. I just feel like it's just more practical to me. So, some people do circles and crosses and ups and downs, and I think, I just need to know when I pick up my pendulum, it knows what to do.
Good idea. Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
So on that note, Evelyn, we might leave it there. That was fantastic. Yes. But yeah, we've still got lots to cover. If you'd like to come back and we can do it again, or we can maybe do another reading. We can talk tea leaves. We can talk, maybe even creating a magic circle or an altar. Like there's so much we can keep talking about.
Yes. Some of those things would be easier if we were together, because if I like doing a circle or something, I can't really show you and hold the phone sort of, but we can vary them.
We can do that.
Yeah. Yes. And another day I might talk about what the witches' tools are for and stuff like that. Be another thing.
That'd be fantastic. I look forward to it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you, Evelyn. And I'll be in touch and we'll see you again soon.
Good content.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. So much appreciated. Thanks so much, Evelyn. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.